Hey everybody, it's Kevin the Canadian Hillbilly, and as you can tell, I'm still in my trailer and still in Glendon. And earlier today, I had a bit of a mishap with my axe, and a few days ago, prior to that, I had another mishap with my axe. I broke the handle. So, guess what, kids? This one, we're learning how to put on a new axe handle. I figure you can't get much more Canadian hillbilly than repairing an axe. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to fix this axe up. We're going to remove the old head, and then we're going to put on the new one. So, it'll be a bit of a process, but like anything, we tend to make out. So, yeah. First step is to pull out the wood. So, first step is to bury this axe into a piece of firewood, and you use it as a base, something to work on, like a workbench. If you have a vise, probably better than using a piece of wood. Then we're going to cut this off, and then we're going to use a hammer and something and pound this out. So I'll figure out something, a piece of pipe, chunk of a socket, ratchet, whatever you can get. And once you get this all removed, sometimes you even gotta like chop this off and then use a drill just to get rid of all the wood and stuff. And this one I did an exceptional job. It has two wedges in here, a wooden wedge that goes in across, and then I put two metal wedges in. So hopefully I can retrieve those and recycle them and use them for the next axe. And things go wrong, I got myself a wooden wedge and a metal wedge. That'll go in the top of the new handle once it gets inserted into the axe. So, hopefully, sometimes you gotta trim these little fellas down a bit, but I'm hoping I don't have to. So, another thing you want to be looking at too when you get an axe is the grain in it. You want to be looking for weak spots and stuff where it will break. Now on this axe here, it was reasonably good, but you can see there was a bow in the wood grain right here, and that little defect in the wood grain caused this axe failure. And as you can tell by the wear and tear on this axe, it has been with me for some time. So once this gets cut off, I'm going to clean up this axe head, make it look all nice and pretty and shiny. Once I get that all pretty and shiny, I even put a pin through it. That's great. So that's got to come out of there too. Lovely. I did a really good job in putting this in there. So yeah, I got to cut this off. I got to pound the pin out. I got to get all this out of here. It's going to be a bit of a process, a bit of a chore. It might take a bit. I think getting that pin out before I remove the handle might be a good idea. Yeah. So, enjoy this video because it's going to be a long one. And I'm going to start working on this project tomorrow after work because it's already 10 p.m. and I got to get up nice and early at 5:30 to start work. So, I just figured I'd start the video now. That way I'm motivated to actually get this project done. It's going to be a good one. Fortunately here I have a nice repertoire of tools to utilize, and it should go reasonably well. So, I'm probably not even in the frame. I hope I am. Otherwise it's just going to be hand gestures and an axe. So yeah, that's whereabouts I'm at. Yeah, well, until I resume this, see you guys later. So, time for a new handle on this guy. So in this video, it's another how-to. We got the new one. Time to take out the old one. So the first thing I got to do with the old one is there is a pin stuck inside here. So I'm going to have to pound that out with a hammer, which I conveniently have somewhere around this piece of chaos in this glorious room that is going to be the working location for this video. And got myself my drink pre-poured. I am ready to rock and roll on this project. So So we're going to pop this out, this pin, and then we're going to sink this axe into a piece of firewood, and then we're going to chop off the handle and get rid of the stuff that's stuck in the end. Hopefully I can reuse some of those wedges because they're still pretty good shape. You got a plan B. Got a new wedge kit. So that's where we're at. I'll turn this back on once I get this pin pounded out. Well, I managed to get the pin out. I use a screw as a, I don't know, put it in there and tap with the hammer. It was going well until the screw got stuck in there, but that's alright. So now the next thing to do is sink this thing into a piece of firewood and see if I can actually pull it out, or if I have to cut it. It's nice if you can pull it out because then you don't have to cut it, you don't have to pound out the rest of the stuff, and sometimes you just kind of get lucky. Let's see if this luck continues, because that pin came out like nothing, which was great. So, and when I put a new pin in there, this is just an old nail. Well, here we are. I tried tapping it out, and I didn't get very far. A little far, yes, but not far enough for my liking. So I'm going to buck this off and see if I can pop it out this way, because it's wider on the top than it is on the bottom, and it should just go straight through the top. So I'm going to buck the old handle off with the Sawzall, and hopefully that goes according to plan. Yeah, there it is right there. That wasn't so bad. Well, that worked according to plan. Chopped off on one side, push it back out through. Able to save my 2 wedges. Things are looking good. Now, to fit the new handle in there, but before I do that, I'm going to clean up this axe head and shine it all up, make it look pretty and happy again. Well, nothing super duper pretty, but I think that should do the job, eh? Looking pretty good. Just to, knock the rust off, put a bit of an edge back on the blade, and now to fit the old handle here, the new old handle, and see how that goes. Well, after a bit of a struggle, I managed to get the axe head on there. You want to have a little bit of the wood sticking out of the top. Well, I had to run into Mobile's hillbilly headquarters on the road, and so it takes a little bit of pounding. You got to shave off a few spots. You got to take it in and out a few times and figure out where you need to shave. And I got a little bit of wood still sticking out there, so that's good. So that tells me she's a tight fit. And if you look at it, the wood sticks out there. So the next step in this process is to insert the wooden wedge, pound it in as far as I can. I'm also going to have to clean up these edges with the grinder because she mushroomed out a little bit. Another thing happened when I was tapping it off is I dinged the back of the handle. Something I didn't like. But that's the way she goes. And yeah, like I say, I put that wooden wedge in there. I had to use the old boomstick there to get it in there. And that's where we're at. Yay. Wooden wedge. There it is. Time to go into play. Well, I don't know if it's a sign of me doing a good job, but I couldn't even get that wooden wedge in there. I tried cleaning up and sharpening it a bit more on the disc grinder and just wouldn't fit in there. So I just cleaned up the top. Now I'm going to insert the 3 metal wedges I have. So I'm going to stick this one right down the middle, somewhere around there. I can stick the other 2 sideways in there, and that should lock that handle in there pretty darn good. Well, I now have my wedges inserted. I cleaned them up a bit with a disc grinder, but they're in there. Next thing to do is put the pin back in right through the middle, and this axe should not come off with this piece of wood, that's for sure. More likely to break the handle like I did with the last one. Gotta be gentle at the bottom, you don't want to deform that. The only defect I did, like I said, was on the back here. I don't know if I can sand that out or not, but yeah, time for the pin. Well, I got my pin in there. Yeah. I also sharpened up the edge quite extensively. Now I just need to cut both sides of the pin off and then hammer it in so it's like a mushroom on each side. And that's good to go. Nice. Well, there it is. I got the pin in, I got it pounded, and I even gave it a little love with the grinder. Look at that bad boy. That should give me years and years of service. I know they didn't go in very straight, but that's okay. They're in there. They're going to do the job. Yep. Got my axe back. Now I can chop a bunch of firewood for the trailer, which is needed and important. I'm really happy the way this turned out. One thing I want to do is coat this with candle wax. Just close off all the pores in the metal and help waterproof it. Stop it from oxidizing and rusting up a bit. That's the thing I want to do, is just give this a little touch up on the back here and make it nice. So, with that being said, if you followed all the steps and you find an old axe head in the bush, you should be able to refurbish it. Not an axe head, a pickaxe, you know, if you're a prospector. But yeah, I think that turned out pretty darn nice. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks good. And yeah. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next time I have to do something. Hope you enjoyed. Bye. Yeah, look at that bad boy. She's a beauty. Woo-wee!